Hey everyone, Jason Hitchings here with Adept Defense, and today I'm finally bringing you the Holosun 507c review. You guys have seen this optic in several videos now. I just haven't had enough time behind it to feel comfortable giving you guys an actual review and an opinion of it. So now that I've had it for a couple months, I've kind of hit that point to where I'm really comfortable with this optic. So just a quick rundown of some of the features. The first and smartest feature they have is it is on the same footprint as a Trujicon RMR. So there's a ton of slides out there and a ton of aftermarket slides you can buy that's already cut, pre-milled for a Trujicon RMR. Or if it's, say, a Glock MOS or that type of platform to where it's an optics ready type gun that you buy and it has adapter plates, all of them are going to have an adapter plate for a Trujicon RMR. So Holosun is by far the smartest company to jump on board with using the same footprint pattern as the Trujicon RMR. So if your gun's milled for an RMR, you can bolt this optic right on there. And so that's what I did. This is a Glock 45. I sent it out to Jagerworks, or the slide of it I sent to Jagerworks. Had it milled, had some serrations done. I did my rear dovetail forward of the optic, which is my preferred placement. And then it is milled for a Trujicon RMR. And then I specified to them that I was going to use the Holosun sight on it because the only difference is the length of the screws. And I think it's just as far as the height of the body and the way they recess the screws in the body. I believe the Holosun screws are a little bit shorter than the RMR screws. So when I ordered this, I just specified I'm going to use a Holosun on an RMR cut, and then they sent me the correct length screws for this optic. So it was really simple to do. Just bolted on a little bit of blue Loctite on the threads, and then I also witness mark, I don't know how with the sun out here, but I've got a paint pen witness marks on my screws to where I can have a quick visual reference to see if they've moved at all. So as long as my witness marks are lined up, I know everything's solid and it hasn't moved. So a couple features of this. It's got the adjustment buttons on the side of the optic. It is a adjustable LED model, but it also has this solar panel at the top. And be honest with you, I don't really care about the solar panel. I've had a ton of time behind the adjustable LED RMRs. They've kind of been my go-to for like the last 5 years. So I've had a ton of experience with those. So I'm really confident with the durability of those. So I knew if this one was as durable as those, it was going to be a great optic. So the price point is the other thing. These are in the neighborhood of $300, so about half the price, or pretty close to half the price of a Trujicon RMR, which is a great thing. One feature that these have that the RMRs don't is their shake to wake feature. So basically, if you lay this gun down, say it's in a bedside safe and it lays perfectly still, after an amount of time the dot will shut off to conserve battery life, and as soon as it detects any movement, the dot comes back on, which is a really cool feature. And to be honest with you, I haven't really thoroughly tested it to see how sensitive it is. That might be something to try and maybe make a future video on. But the battery life on these is so good, it's comparable to an RMR. So I change the batteries once a year in my RMRs, which I'm going to do in this one too. I've done several drop tests with this, which it's funny, a lot of people have complained about, you know, why would you drop your optic? And, you know, because if it can't handle a fall, I don't want it on a carry gun. And I understand the fact that I bought this optic and now I'm abusing it, but it's for the sake of the video and the review process. So I don't want to, you know, sign off that this is a great optic if it can't handle a fall. And if I don't try it, I don't know. So that was the reason for me doing my drop tests on this optic. It passed perfectly. I haven't had any dot flicker of any type with this, and it retained 0 through all of the abuse that I've put it through so far. I do have a 25-yard zero on it. I zeroed it with 124 grain ammo. Today I'm shooting 115 grain, which, yeah, there'll be a little bit of a difference in point of impact when you switch different ammos, but it'll be close enough for what we're doing with it today. I'd like to show you guys kind of the different reticle options, because that's another thing that this has for a feature that the RMR doesn't. This has a 2 MOA dot, or it has the circle dot feature, kind of like an EOTech type reticle, to where it has a 32 MOA circle with the dot in the center of it, or you can do the circle without the dot. So it's got 3 different reticles that you can, you know, scroll through, and it's just a matter of holding down one of these 2 buttons. After you hold it down for a period of time, it'll start toggling through, and you can decide on which one you want to try. And the other feature is it has adjustable brightness settings like an RMR, or you can do the auto adjust feature, and my RMRs have the same feature as that, and I just use the manual adjust, and I get the brightness setting where I want it and I leave it there. I found with both this and the RMR, the auto adjust just isn't fast enough for my liking. I feel like it has just this little bit of lag in there to adjust the brightness settings. So I would just rather manually adjust it and set it and leave it where I want it. So that's how I've been using it, but so far the experience has been really good. So we are going to put some rounds through this, kind of put the camera behind the gun, give you an idea of what the sight picture looks like, and see, you know, I don't know how well the camera is going to do as far as being able to get a target focus, or if it's going to want to try to focus on the dot. But if the camera will maintain a target focus, then you'll see a nice crisp dot. But if it tries to focus on the dot, then it might be blurry. So, but we'll try it. We'll see how it goes. But so far, it's been really good. Alright, so I had to kind of bring the camera back in the shade here to be able to see through it. But this USPSA style target that we are aimed in on right now is about 17 yards away, pacing it off. And then the steel target over here is at 30 yards. So we're going to try to put a few rounds through this gun, kind of straddling a tripod looking through a camera. So we'll see how this goes. So that gives you an idea of what the 2 MOA dot looks like through the window of the optic. Alright, so if I switch that up, alright, so this is the circle without the dot in the center. Alright, just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. I'm not a huge fan of this option, but if we hold down the minus button one more time, we should gain the little dot in the center of that circle. Alright, there it is. Alright, so now we've got the circle dot set up, more like an EOTech style reticle. This is harder through the camera than you'd think it would be. Alright, that kind of gives you an idea of what those different reticles look like. Alright, so that gives you guys at least a rough idea of what it looks like behind this optic with those 3 different reticle choices. And to be honest with you, I'm really only a fan of the 2 MOA dot, and that's probably just because just a single dot is what I'm used to, because I've been on the Trujicon RMR for so many years. The EOTech style circle dot reticle, or just the circle, I could see if you're a competition shooter, and depending on what stage layout you were shooting, you might be able to change what reticle you use depending on what the stage is. You know, if it's a lot of up close type stuff, maybe you just want the big circle. because you're just looking to get A-zone hits at that point. You're not super fine-tuned, but if you've got a stage to where you've got some steel at distance, you know, you might want that 2 MOA dot. So I can see the benefits of having the different choices, and depending on your eyes, maybe your eyes pick up the circle dot better and it's a better option for you. But for me personally, I just like the 2 MOA dot, and maybe if I dedicated more time on the circle dot, maybe it would grow on me, I don't know. But if I were to buy another one of these, they make a 407c as well, which is just the 2 MOA dot. All the other features are the same. It just doesn't have the option of going with the 3 different reticles. So if I was going to buy a second one of these optics, I would probably just buy the 407, just because I really only see myself using that 2 MOA dot. But you can buy the 407c for about $75 cheaper. They're anywhere from $220 to $230 is kind of what I've been seeing them lately. And really, if you know that you like the dot style reticle for $230, for that price point, it's a really affordable way to get into a red dot on your pistol. I'm a huge fan of red dots and all the advantages that they bring you, so I pretty much put dots on just about all my guns. I just have a couple guns that are dedicated iron sight guns that every now and then I'll practice with iron sights, or if I'm teaching a class where everybody primarily has iron sight guns, I'll use one as well. But shooting a dot over time will actually make you more proficient on iron sights, so I don't necessarily feel the need to go out and practice specific iron sight stuff as often as I do dot type practice. So hopefully this review was helpful to you. I talked a little bit about this optic in some of the G45 videos that we've done, so check those out too. There's a little bit more information about this setup in those videos. But if you're on the fence and you've been looking at one of these optics, I wouldn't hesitate. I would absolutely do it. You know, I've actually abused it. You know, there's a lot of people that have done reviews on these and haven't put it through any abuse other than just shooting it. So I've done the drop tests and racking it off from hard objects, and it's held up perfectly to all of that. I haven't had any dot flicker or failure of any type, no zero shift. So I'm absolutely a fan of this optic so far. If I do have any issues with it down the road, I'll do a follow-up video to inform you guys about that. But so far, this definitely gets a thumbs up for me. I'm Jason Hitchings with Adept Defense. Seek training, become adept.